Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, graduates, friends, and family. Greetings to you joining us online from all around the world. I'm Lynn Cooley, Dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and I am delighted and grateful to have you with us as we gather to celebrate achievements of the classes of 2020 and 2021 of Yale Graduate School. To begin, I want to acknowledge the indigenous peoples and nations including Mohegan, Mashantucket Pequot, Eastern Pequot, Schaghticoke, Golden Hill Paugussett, Niantic, the Quinnipiac, and other Algonquin-speaking peoples who have stewarded through generations the lands and waterways of what is now the state of Connecticut. We honor and respect the enduring relationship that exists between these peoples and nations and this land. Welcome to our alumni degree ceremony for the Yale Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. And I'm going to go a little out of order and say a very heartfelt thank you to our superb organist, Mr. Philip Balkan, who is one of our many accomplished Yale College students playing on one of the world's great pipe organs in Woolsey Hall. Thank you. Thank you to our graduates for pausing in your post-Yale lives and returning in person to our beautiful campus. We cannot replace or restore everything the pandemic has taken from us, but today we have a chance to rebuild at least a part of what we lost. At last, we can celebrate your hard work and success. Celebrate the beginning of your professional lives and the many ways in which you now serve the world. Ceremony is important. It is how the Academy recognizes the dedication and commitment you and your families have made for your education and the expansion of human knowledge writ large. It is a means by which you can fully embody the transition from graduate student to your professional identities. It is also a day for congratulations. We acknowledge your contributions to our community and to your respective disciplines. We hold you in a collective embrace before we send you off with our best hopes and wishes. You will continue to learn, to discover, to investigate, to share knowledge. It may be fair to say that your journey to knowledge has just barely begun. Yet we recognize and mark your passage from student to teacher, from learner to learned. It is a profound reorientation of your place in the world and deserves to be acknowledged. Over your time at Yale, you may have heard me say that our mission as a school is to train scholars and push the boundaries of knowledge, that this requires being comfortable with uncertainty, and that the skills you acquire while doing this will make you capable of tackling difficult questions with rigor and discipline. While it's certainly true that the pandemic profoundly affected the final stage of your time at Yale, you have adapted and persevered to finish the degrees you came to Yale to accomplish. You may have had to cope with your own illness, the illness of family members, even the loss of loved ones. We've all had to learn to do everything differently, to cope with travel disruptions, and to live with uncertainty. Despite these historic difficulties, you persisted with courage to complete your studies. You found, like others who have gone before, that graduate school is very much about negotiating the frontier of the unknown. Even now, as the pandemic is not entirely loosed its grip on us, we cannot yet assess it with the clarity of hindsight. But I hope and believe it has provided us with experience to make us better problem solvers, to make us more compassionate, more thoughtful. You never know what you will be asked to do, but the ability to identify a problem and pursue it to solution is a powerful tool. Your skill in solving complex problems, working with others, embracing differences and building constructive relationships will serve you well when faced with the vicissitudes of work and life. Challenges are certain. Your abilities are proven. You are ready for all of it. Please allow me just to take a moment here to name several groups of Yale employees beyond our established and devoted faculty who stand at the heart of Yale, and when I've finished, we can thank them all together. The university's custodial and maintenance staff who make Yale look beautiful and keep us in good condition all year long, the hospitality staff who feed us at commencement and throughout the year, the clerical and technical staff who conduct the university's business with acumen and dispatch, the managerial and professional staff who direct and administer our departments and schools, and specifically the staff of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences who sustain the institution within which Yale graduate education thrives. Now, for all these wonderful women and men of Yale, I ask for your recognition through applause from And now, on this day of joy and togetherness, we are proud to present you with a memento of your time at Yale. Please come forward when Dean Allegra de Bonaventura reads your name. To congratulate the degree recipients, we will also be joined at the front of the stage by faculty members from departments and programs. And yes, you may applaud whenever you see fit. In former times, such applause for individual graduates might have been thought a little bit impolite, but we welcome it, so go for it. Dean de Bonaventura.
Thank you, Dean Cooley. For the degrees in African American Studies, for the Doctor of Philosophy, Shanna Jean-Baptiste. Brittany Nicole Livingston. For the degrees in American Studies, the Doctor of Philosophy, Courtney Lindsay Akiko Sato. Damian Vergara Bracamontes. Alexia Victoria Williams. For the degrees in Anthropology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Hutaje Neely Ertan.
Yeah, there you go. There you are.
Elisa Paradis. Jacob Rink. Kyle Wiley. For the degrees in Applied Physics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Linshu Lee.
Nope, not here.
Okay.
Not here.
For the Master of Science, Nasser Badr Al-Houthi. Timo Kevin Kristen. Nikita Ermolayev.
Nope.
You can take that one. Roping Lee. For the degrees in archaeological studies, for the Master of Arts degree, Adrian Elise Natali. For the degrees in cell biology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Joseph Ryan Amick. Anna Elizabeth Eastman. Kevin James Hughes. David Fowler. Wen Ping Zhao. For the degrees in chemistry, the Doctor of Philosophy, Gaurav Banerjee. Ipsita Ghosh. Anthony Christopher Screws. For the degrees in computational biology and bioinformatics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Don Hoon Lee.
Yep. All right. Welcome back.
Kevin Lee Lopez. For the degrees in computer science, the Doctor of Philosophy, Luciano Di Balla. Jeremy Koenig. Marko Mitrovic. Ray Zhang. For the Master of Science degree, Diming Chu. Wei Zhang. Yinghao Wang. For the degrees in Earth and Planetary Sciences, the Doctor of Philosophy, Neela Marie Creasy. Chuavi Jane. Yoshinori Miyazaki. Sarah Marie Arvison. For the degrees in ecology and evolutionary biology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Larry Lee Bowman, Jr. Jessica Rose Glass. For the degrees in economics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Ian Schofield Ball. Eduardo Pinheiro Fraga. Oren Sarik. Saumitra Shukala. Nicholas Snashall Woodhams. Connor Walsh. Yujo Wang. For the degrees in engineering and applied science, the program in biomedical engineering, the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Rebecca Marie Lacroix. Iomi Posi Love. Micah Sam Brickman Raridan. For the Master of Science degree, Shuojun Bao. For the program in Chemical and Environmental Engineering, the Doctor of Philosophy, Randolph A. Callender. Akshay Deshmukh. For the Master of Science degree, Shuran Wei. The program in Electrical Engineering, the Doctor of Philosophy, Merve Salehi. For the program in Mechanical Engineering, Materials Science, the Doctor of Philosophy, Shubhojyoti Chowdhury. Rodrigo Miguel Ojeda Mota. Chikai Wu. Ingjae Xiang. Xiao Zhou. Yujun Xie. For degrees in environment, the Doctor of Philosophy, Kungning Wang. Lauren Nicole Pincus. No. Okay. For the degrees in European and Russian Studies, the Master of Arts, Madeline Ellis Muzdakis. For the degrees in experimental pathology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Yuting Liu. For the degrees in genetics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Daniel Burkhart. Julianne Alodi Gordis. Diane Molly Manry. Michael Sarant. J.N. Song. Shui Zeng. For the degrees in history, the Doctor of Philosophy, Kevin Michael Feeney. Mireille Juliette Pardon. Justin Randolph. For the Master of Arts, Keith Casey Kokoza O'Hara. Harry Llewellyn Perkin. for degrees in the history of art. The Doctor of Philosophy. Laura Rose Phillips. For degrees in History of Science and Medicine. The Doctor of Philosophy. Hye-Soo Park. Ki-Ming Shi. For the degrees in immunobiology, the Doctor of Philosophy. Pingmin Chen. For degrees in the interdepartmental neuroscience program, the Doctor of Philosophy. Usman Farouk. Tian Yu Yun Gao. Jia Lisa G. Lien Diu Nguyen. For the degrees in International and Development Economics, the Master of Arts, Yasmin Katerina Bayer. Sanjun Chabra. Shwetha Grace Epen. Yija Gao. Valentina Getz. Pablo Antonio Gordillo Coutinho. Rhea Gupta. Preksha Jain. Mark Khalil. Dalton Matson. Srimai Samujewala. Nishka Sharma. Poan Shi. Asta Borja. Rongxuan John. Srinivasan Nithya. For the degrees in Italian Studies, the Doctor of Philosophy, Giulia Claire Pucci. For the degrees in Linguistics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Ricker Dockum. Martine Fuchs. For the degrees in Management, the Doctor of Philosophy, Marjam Kim. For the degrees in Mathematics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Guangyu Zhou. For the degrees in Medieval Studies, the Doctor of Philosophy, Sebastian Ryder Becerra. Gina Marie Hurley. For the degrees in Microbiology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Kelsey Hall. Emily Elaine Putnam. Emily Elizabeth Shine. For the degrees in molecular biophysics and biochemistry, the Doctor of Philosophy, Kenneth Ivan Brewer. Kirsten Connect. For the degrees in molecular, cellular, and developmental biology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Koen van der Schuren. For the degrees in music, the Doctor of Philosophy, Stephanie Acevedo. Laura Jean Brown. Brianne Dolce. Liam Patrick Hines Tawa. Brian Andrew Miller. William Watson. For the Master of Arts, Harry Peter Castle. For the degrees in nursing, the Doctor of Philosophy, Bridget Bazil Ibrahim. Abby Muller. For the degrees in pharmacology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Eric Michael Rosenberg. For For the degrees in philosophy, the Doctor of Philosophy, Ryer Helle. For the degrees in physics, the Doctor of Philosophy, Supraja Balasubramanian. Charles Brown II. Christopher Davis. Erpit Dua. Raymond Ellers III. Tyler Harrison Lutz. Kyungju No. Christian Weber. For the degrees in political science, the Doctor of Philosophy, Maximilian Clemens Bernhard Krahe. Gautam Nair. Matthew Schaefer. Alicia Steinmetz. For the degrees in psychology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Elizabeth Janet Lewis. For the degrees in public health, the Doctor of Philosophy, Yixian Chang. Mo Lee. Renee Mera. Xiaochan Wang. The Master of Science, Wenhan Lu. Juyi Tang. Wei Tian. Yumin Wang. Yushuan Wang. Ning Zhang. For the degrees in religious studies, the Doctor of Philosophy, Joseph Loftus Cumming. Pratima Gopala Krishnan. Lucia Ruth Hulsether. Justin Joel White. For the degrees in Slavic languages and literatures, the Doctor of Philosophy, Jacob Evan Lassen. For the degrees in Sociology, the Doctor of Philosophy, Mustafa Yavas. For the degrees in Statistics and Data Science, the Doctor of Philosophy, Elena Kushainova. Tal Sarik. Xin Shu.
Do we have any extra people? Okay, graduates. Hang on, I have to make sure we haven't, okay. I'm going to now ask, as I call out each degree, to have the recipients of those degrees stand and remain standing, after which we can all congratulate you collectively on your marvelous achievements. Master of Arts, Master of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, Okay, please stay standing for just a moment. It's our tradition in the graduate school to recognize that the commitment of time, effort, and attention required for you to achieve your advanced degree was only possible with the participation and support of not only your professors and classmates, but also your families and friends. I invite you to turn to those in the room with you today and acknowledge the help they've given you to reach your degrees. Okay, you can sit down now. You have been an integral part of one of civilization's highest inventions, the research university, where the mission is the creation of new knowledge. As you have learned, finding new knowledge, new truth about our world is not a solitary endeavor. You have lived within an academic network in which you can follow your curiosity, rigorously test your ideas, benefit from critique, and go forward in an unexpected direction. You have learned that a convincing argument backed by evidence from primary sources or well-controlled experiments will stand up to critiques and, importantly, pave the way for the next person to take another step. Savor this and rejoice in this. It's a rare privilege to have had the experience and to apply what you've learned throughout your life. Finally, please take a moment to reflect on the people who helped you make it through graduate school and to find your career path. As you benefited from being mentored, consider being a mentor yourself. Think about sharing your knowledge and experience with upcoming students through the Graduate School Alumni Association, or by signing up to be part of Cross Campus, our portal for bringing alumni and current graduate students together for networking and career support. You may not realize how much your experiences can already be of benefit to others. Graduates, friends, families, together with the faculty and staff who are with us, you are all invited to a reception immediately following this ceremony in the Calkins Courtyard at the McDougall Center, where we started out this morning. Please join us for this celebratory occasion. Please remain in your seats until the platform party recesses from the auditorium. Then process yourselves out to the reception under the guidance of our ushers. On behalf of all of us at Yale, congratulations.